that a loot issue, or is
It
that
could be. Well,
could the DAO be set up to have mechanics that keep that?
personally, I think it's a human issue because what any DAO is trying to do, what any DAO is doing is a group. Like if you think about a group high school project, like there's like 10 of you working on the same project in high school, but like 2 really did all the work, and then there's like a bunch of slackers, and then like a couple were really opinionated and we all hated them, and like that's like human nature. So like if you, no matter what, if you have a DAO, you're going to be dealing with those 10 personalities, like regardless. I mean, if you're going to add somebody who's going to say, no, we're going to listen to all voices here, then that person is a leader, and then it's a hierarchy. So I think it's kind of hard to be like fully decentral if you have a group. Like it's just people.
Well,
people are weird.
The next session's DAO, so stay tuned. You had a question.
Yes. Hi guys, love the panel. I am Paras, and I run this. It's called Leaf DAO. It's a metaverse wearables brand that you can wear wearables in Decentraland, Sandbox, and it's got an IRL utility also. My question is, though I come from this background where I'm putting a high focus on utility, but I've always felt that it can happen other way around also, that if the brand is in place, the utility can also come to the brand. For example, we have done a lot of one-to-one work for Bored Apes and Lazy Lions. Now, this is a utility going to them because they are a certain brand, right? So what are your thoughts on this? Is it really important to be obsessive about utility from day one, or the vision or the brand that's being built, the community that is being gathered can also be important and the utility can come later?
What utility does the Nike swoosh give, right? Nothing, right? But I pay for the shoes, right? And you can go buy the exact same shoes or very similar for much less, right? And so there's absolutely value to a brand, and that can be a real utility, right? Being part of a club, being part of something, a status symbol, owning a Beanie Baby. A Beanie Baby doesn't have any, utility, right? I mean, you can give it to your kids and they can play with it and probably put it in their mouth if they're young enough, but that's about it, right? It's a chew toy. But there's no real utility, but it was cool. It's a status thing, right? And so I think that is something that exists today, maybe to the tune of Tulip Mania, which is what we're kind of warning against. But I think brand is still everything. It's the image matters.
Yeah, I'd love to piggyback on that as well. I mean, I think from a layman's term, especially at a lower price point, I think the collectability factor is going to go a long way. So for me, like even when I've been trying to well-verse my dad on some of these Web 3.0 things and NFTs and the metaverse, I try to use a simple, I know it's a very trivial way of putting it, but I'm like, remember when you loved baseball cards when you were a kid? Now you can go in the metaverse and you can own some shoes and a hat, and it's kind of the collectability factor of it. But like again, that's outside of the utility uses. But I think there will. I agree. I think at a lower price point, there's a lot of value in the simple collectability factor, especially once the metaverse starts really rolling out. I think I want to be in there. I want to have 10 different outfits. I want to have something that I can't have in the real. I want to have some wings. I want to have some roller skates. Who knows? Sky's the limit. And I think obviously those have utility within the metaverse, but outside of the metaverse, you can't really do anything about it except show somebody, oh, look at my cool collection. But then again, like you said, Clark, that can be sold later. You can say, hey, you know what? I'm good with this, but I want to sell this, and then there is value. So,
I want an Iron Man suit.
I think if the basis of your brand is exclusivity and collectability, then yes, the brand can come before the utility, before the product. In general, great brands are made out of great products. And in this space, there's a lot of brands being built that, jury's out if there'll be any utility there. So until then, the utility, I guess people would say, is in the community. But sure, there are brands whose entire value is not based on the quality of their clothing or how comfortable their shoes are. They're based on their exclusivity, and those are really well-managed brands. It's possible to do. Personally, I think it's harder to start there than to start with building a great product and make a brand out of that.
All right, got a question back here. I know this individual because he has a real-world brand, snowboard brand. He's actually building snowboards for Shaun White with Kemper. And so give it up, Jib. Tell us what you're doing with NFTs.
How's it going? Jib Hunt, owner of Kemper Snowboards. My question to you guys is, so I have real-world physical products. What do you think about the idea of when you buy a physical product, you also get a digital version of it in NFT?
I think it's very cool. I think there's, again, there needs to be some utility, some real world, why, who cares, right?
So what is that? Like, what could he do with a snowboard? I just got one of these, and they're amazing, but it didn't come with the digital image. Because if it did, it would be worth a lot more than a snowboard, right?
It isn't unless you can do something with it, right? If
I
you
don't think that's the case. I can't do anything with my shoes that are worth $60,000.
For sure. That's totally true. But if you have maybe a 3D snowboard, right, then you can use that in the metaverse, right? That would be cool, right? That type of a thing. If you can.
Can you make that happen with Seek and Jib?
Absolutely. That's
all right, done. Ink that
that's
deal.
Exactly what we do. So we can talk to you, but yeah, I think there's room for it, but we could sit here all day and have a 2-hour discussion about all the ways that you can actually make that happen. Mm-hmm. I think it's awesome.
So I think that could be cool going forward with brands, physical brands, having a digital version or limited edition that could be traded digitally, like maybe you still have a sneaker in the closet or skateboard on the wall.
As the metaverse grows, that's going to become more and more important. And how cool would it be even if I wish I got one of your 50 that you just sold. I tried to get it, and I was
mine's for sale.
I was well, yeah, $60,000, right? I think it's awesome. But what if one of them came with the opportunity to do a quick, FaceTime or Zoom call with Shaun White, right? I mean, now all of a sudden you're getting into like, oh, this is awesome. This one, you're going to be lucky. One of 50 gets this. Those will sell out. I mean, I know they sold out in 10 minutes, but maybe they'll sell out in 5 minutes. So.
Could you add value to the physical boards in later? Oh, sorry.
A snowboard that makes you jump twice as high in a video game that involves snowboarding down a hill. Like, then it starts with digital, and then you can come out with a physical product that looks just like it later. Like, I almost think you start with the digital in that case, rather than starting with a physical product and then.
Can I add to that? Like, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
If you started digital, you could do all of these things because you're selling a token that gives you access to Shaun White, gives you access to a game or a board in Decentraland that you don't have to snowboard. You can snowboard upside down. You can do whatever. All the things I can't do in real life, you can. But that I can't do in real life, I would be able to do in a virtual space. But like there's a distiller, I'm forgetting where they're at, that just sold a key to basically be able to have access to like their private reserve anytime you're in country and to have experiences no one else can have. And if you start with the physical product and that's who you think you are to your consumer, that's who you're going to stay. If you can switch that on its end and think digitally, I can mean something differently than if you start digitally, it can have all of that real world utility that you just layer on afterwards that allow you to get interviews or boards made or you name it. Like it reinvents like the entire business model for a lot of different industries.
I mean, you can do more things with a digital snowboard than you can with a real snowboard. Suddenly you can go upside down and do all these twirls and do all these crazy things that a person couldn't really do in real life. I think that if it comes with that functionality, that's awesome.
And we're literally going back to Shaun White's game that was like 10 years old. It's like, are we going back in time with the digital? It's all been done? He should relaunch. Shaun should just come back and NFT his whole game. We'll all play it again and win real snowboards while playing it. This is weird. What much time do we have, El? 8 more minutes or so? Okay, we got 3 more questions left. I'll get over there.
So I'm kind of an NFT skeptic, and one thing that I've noticed while spending a lot of time on Twitter is there is a huge divide between the NFT community and the crypto community. How do you approach that and bring us closer with more understanding and bridge the gap between, tokenization and NFTs? Because that seemed hard to overcome for me.
I'm on a different Twitter than you are.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see that a lot. I haven't seen a ton of that. But
You're on the wrong Twitter.
You're on the wrong Twitter. You're in like a different metaverse or multiverse or whatever that is.
You've got too much. Yeah. No, but there is definitely this. There is NFT skeptic Twitter out there. And there's even spaces being held that are like really worried about the Bored Ape Yachts Club, like diversity issues and all that stuff. Real quickly, so it's all digital, but do you think we're going to be in Halloween going to have all Bored Ape like monkey masks being sold at the stores and stuff? Like, are we going to see it go physical?
I don't know if Bored Ape does that. They could.
Yeah.
Individuals could because they own the rights.
Yeah.
So one person could sell that if they wanted to. I don't know if the whole collection does it. Yuga Labs could, but they've opened the door up, I think, to 10,000 other people to be able to do that first.
So it's kind of down to an individual level because they each own the copyright individually, and that okay.
I think probably if it's attached to a specific celebrity, I would say, because I know
Yeah.
in the hip hop space, there's a lot of rappers that have them.
Yeah.
If somebody has a very popular one, then I can see that shirt selling. I can see that
Yep.
becoming a costume because people are not only want to dress as the NFT, but also their
They want Post Malone's Bored Ape. Yeah, that makes sense. Crazy. You're like what, 15? 17? That's good. You're still. I want to hear from 17. What's the question a 17-year-old has towards all this? Is this crazy or is this just normal for you?
No. Okay. Either it's two parts. If you guys have a story that goes with someone that had their life changed by NFTs, but if you don't have any, what's one way we could stop screenshotting NFTs?
I think the answer is how can we stop caring about people screenshotting NFTs? Because the value is never in the pixels. It's not that, hey, I'm the only person who can display this because I bought the NFT. That's, I mean, on the surface, that's what it appears. And to your question, I see a lot more discord between the art and NFT community than I do between the crypto and NFT community. And that's, again, because of how early we are in this. Artists are observing that, wow, anybody can go take my art, tokenize it, and sell it. And yeah, that's happening. It also happened with YouTube. It happened with Napster. It happens with every new democratizing media distribution platform. And then controls fall into place, and that's what has to happen here, too. I think that, you know, as we've been talking about utility in NFTs and value outside of the pixels and the JPEG there, and that's really the answer, is that as nobody who's buying NFTs for anything other than pure speculation cares if you're right-clicking on it.
Then life-changing. Anybody know that someone's life is upside down in a good way or bad way because of NFTs?
Beeple, right? I mean, is a perfect example, right? Beeple was selling his art for, he had never sold anything for more than $100 before NFTs came out, and he just sold his 5,000 Days piece for $69.3 million in one of the most respected art galleries in the world.
Yeah, Christie's auctioned it, right?
That's big time.
Yeah, I watched that video. It was insane.
So there's plenty of stories around that. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, you know, all day. I wouldn't set out to, you know, do that in the same way, but I think there's, I'm just sitting here thinking about how early this is, right? We've said that a lot, right? But the questions that are coming out and the questions that I get just on LinkedIn and whatever, there is so much opportunity here if you start to understand this. If you can just dig in and really understand the real value behind it and don't just, you know, follow the hype cycle, right? Dig below that and say, okay, what is the real value here behind this technology? Everyone in this room is perfectly positioned to do very, very well in life if you can adjust your business, whether you sell snowboards or electricity. It doesn't really matter. Everything in between, there are ways to bring NFTs into your business in a way that will benefit your community and give you more opportunity to make an impact on the world.
I'm gonna just take a question real fast. I get asked every day, where does someone go when they're not just trying to buy the hype cycle, but they're like, I want to NFT-anize my company? Where does Jib really go if he wasn't right here and I just did a virtual deal making thing right there. Like, who would he call? 1-800 get me on NFTs. I mean, this is real. This is real. I mean, you guys do it. Like, I know right at Taffy, you're turning down Estee Lauder. You're turning down people all day long. The Minions, you turn down them, right? You're too busy.
I will say this. When I got started, it would have benefited me a lot to have someone just walk me through some things, setting up my wallet, like things we do. And I've been in crypto for a while. I had no idea how to do the NFT thing. The NFT Twitter is different than crypto Twitter. And how do I navigate what's bullshit and what's real, and how do I tell the difference? And I'd be willing to be that person. I think we're trying to do that as a company. We brought, I think, more people to first-time NFT ownership. We don't have a way to quantify this right now, but I think we brought more first-time owners into this space than any collection I'm aware of right now from the Daz art community to be into this space. And we're doing tutorials all the time. We're doing them through Twitter and Discord and on our own forums. If someone will spend 15 minutes with you and help you set up a wallet and show you how to do this, it's a life changer. It's a game changer. I do know people, both artists and collectors, who NFTs have changed their life. One of my favorite examples is a 17-year-old named Fuocious. If you look up Fuocious, grew up in Las Vegas in a very conservative home, trans, and found an art outlet. Artifact did a lot to help Fuocious reach a new audience. And Fuocious, as an 18-year-old this year, in the last 12 months, made $17 million selling art. I know that's an exception from the numbers, but that life-changing, even if you drop zeros off the end of that, it's life-changing for someone to find acceptance and someone to find an outlet that living in Las Vegas you may not have as a teenage artist, drawing on shoes and jackets. Yeah. And so I would add that, like, be willing to help. If you have knowledge in this space, take an hour with people and help walk them through kind of the BS detector and to understand, like, what things are valued in the space.
So you guys all raising your hands saying you're willing to take incoming stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of these are companies that need, not just individuals, but a lot of these are companies that are saying, how do I take my company and go Web3? Or how do I issue an NFT and make a community around my product?
So one of the core values at Seek is education. That's always been something we've been about. We've been dealing with, new technologies from, January 1, 2016, when I made a New Year's resolution and started a business that day, which is when Seek started. But last Tuesday or something, I held an NFT that had an NFT webinar that, I had about 200 people on there, and they were asking just very, very basic questions. And everyone up here, everyone that's in it, I love this community. It's a very open and very willing to educate. This is not like, oh no, I'm going to keep my secrets, and this is like, we win together. This is a WAGMI, right? I mean, this is, for those of you that know what that means, we're all gonna make it, right? We're all in this together. And so I think there's a big community for businesses that want to figure out how to make money with NFTs, or figure out how to add value. Really is probably the better way I should phrase that. That's what we do at Seek. That is what we're doing today, is providing that infrastructure, that education, that pathway into what that looks like. And so anybody that's here and anyone that sees this, please come find us and talk to us, and we'd be happy to help, even for free.
I'm going to
show you what's up.
Thank you, everyone. If there's one killer question, it's good because you raise your hand. If it's not good, okay, raise your hand. I'm going to let you do it. It's the last one, and then we're going on to the DAO panel after this, after a short break, and that's the final panel before the pate.
Thank you, Jeff Harrison. So most of my wealth I've built in real estate. I'm sure you guys have gotten some of those questions, but I am a skeptic when it comes to NFTs with collectibles. I think it's kind of a crapshoot, and you're taking a chance. But with certain strategies in real estate, it's not a crapshoot. I mean, you know what you're doing. You've built this, this company to do this kind of thing. So, for each one of you, maybe really quickly, what would you do today if you were trying to combine NFTs and real estate moving forward? And when the hell do we get rid of title companies and mortgage companies?
I have a huge amount of thoughts on this, but if anyone else wants to talk, I know I've been talking. Let's talk after, for sure. Okay, yeah, happy to do that offline. But let me just share one thing that I learned not too long ago that I think is really valuable. When NFTs were first introduced to the blockchain as a proposal, right, EIP 721, they were called deeds. They weren't called NFTs, this non-fungible. Nobody even knows what that means, right? It means unique, right? If you've looked into it, but deeds, they represent ownership, right? A deed to a house is not the house. But if you own that deed, you own that house, right? And so absolutely, title companies, if they're not looking at NFTs, they are dinosaurs, right? They're going to be gone. They're going the way of Blockbuster for sure. So if you're looking for a business, by the way, there isn't a great title company out there that, that's doing it through NFTs yet. It's not there. There's a huge amount of regulation and a huge industry that's going to push against you, right? But I'd be looking to partner with people like Homey and people that are, pushing against the grain to see.
There is a company here that does it.
Yeah,
and I'm blanking on what the name is.
That does NFT titles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But we can talk more. But there's, I think, just understanding that a deed and then token, also people think like it's a coin, right? But a token for any developer that's out here, that's a very basic term. It's just a long hash. It's a series of letters and numbers that's unique, right? And so a non-fungible token is just a series of letters and numbers that represents ownership of something. That's what an NFT is. And so if you start to think about it in terms of ownership and then think about it towards your business, now you can start to really open up new ideas and new ways of thinking about it, and it's not just collectibles.
Realium. Fractional real estate ownership.
Yeah, I was just about to chime in on that. Coming from a generation where we all, a lot of people are doing post-secondary education, we all have a ton of debt in our early 30s, which is sort of insurmountable and feels pretty crushing at night when you're like laying there thinking about your debt. But fractional ownership for real estate is a way to actually start to own assets and own property when like owning a house of your own might seem very far down the road. So I think that's a super interesting application within real estate that a lot of younger people, maybe with less money, but they would jump onto that really quick so they can feel like they own something.
Just add a super quick thought to that because I know we're out of time, but just to observe, there are dozens of people literally in this room that you could have that conversation with and we'll have some really good ideas. That's what's cool about this community. It's what's cool about it happening in Utah. I'm here with Mike Lopez, our president. He and I have been to a lot of NFT meetups and gatherings and conferences in a lot of different cities, and a lot of cities that are supposed to be big tech hubs. The signal to noise ratio in this one has been a hell of a lot better than any of them that I've gone to. And we have an opportunity here. If you have questions about how to do this with a snowboard, talk to people here. We've got Web3 coders in this room. We've got people who have really cool ideas and the ability to start companies around them here in this room. Let's build it here.
Yeah, Utah. And by the way, we have a Discord server. Cryptopia has a Discord server. Don't John it, but hold it, Marie Kondo your Discord servers and be hold it in your little hand. Does this Discord server bring me joy? Ours will. So come join the Cryptopia Discord server. All right, thank you guys so much for being on this panel. It was fun to talk NFTs. All right, we've got a 15-minute break. Then we're going to be talking DAOs. So come right back. Then after party.
Yes.
Have you found a reason to live yet?
Came in well aware that plans may change. Well,
young boy, have you found a reason to live yet?
Being broken isn't always a bad thing.
Got my heart on my sleeve. What the fuck you want from me?
What's the path taken with no sort of pain?
Can't nobody do me better than I do me. I had to break the shell on the bed. Low-key, it was scary cause I felt hella exposed. I left her alone. Shorty, I'm a seeker, not a tweaker. The journey embodies every feeling I love and need her. Long live a fly nigga. Focus good in yours, gotta know what's in you. Being timid in the jungle, become lion dinner. Truth on my plate, go for second and third. Well, we're just walking on thin lines. Walking on thin lines. Walking on thin lines. We're just walking on thin lines. Walking on thin lines. Focus on the road. Yeah, and I'm just trying to keep my balance. Lost it, then I found it. I'm just trying to keep my balance. Yeah, go say yeah, I doubt it. Yeah, and I'm just trying to keep my balance. What? Lost it, then I found it. Yeah, I'm just trying to get my balance. Let it run that shallow. Whoa.